ready for another lesson?
Nathaniel.
Oh, you want me to do that?
Yeah. Just gonna let it ride out a little bit, fade out. Whew. Nothing like it, man. Ain't nothing like it.
It gets the juices going, doesn't it?
It does, man. It kind of like, cause you know you're. This is the sequence of events. It goes. I show up at Nathaniel's apartment. It's all casual talk. We get the podcast set up. Still casual talk. We start the recording. Now this is the point where things can go post-pod stinger. And,
right.
You know, and you're
There's a little bit of prep
kind
time.
of going into it.
You're getting into your flow.
Yeah, and then you kind of gotta build it up to when you actually start recording. That's a whole mindset thing. But like, I could just someone plays that song as I'm walking down the street, I could just instantly start a podcast.
You could go Tobey Maguire 3
yeah, exactly.
or Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Someone plays that song as I'm walking down the street and hands me a microphone.
And you're on, baby.
I'm on, man. Yeah, it's magical. Welcome, everybody.
That's funny.
Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we have a bit of a casual one for you guys.
We're loose.
A little bit of looseness.
Loose, got me loose. Going on patrol.
We, as you know, are going to be reviewing The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, for next week's episode. But we all decided, you know, we were all rewatching Conjuring 1 or 2 anyway, or at least one of them, rewatching one of them. And we figured, you know what, we might as well just do a double episode because we haven't in a while.
Yes,
and we all like these movies enough, and of course Blake is a big horror guy, so.
Well, there's an argument that they are cultural icons now because this is arguably this like second or third most successful extended universe out of movies at this point.
At this point, how many are there? Because they have
really?
these.
What are we
they
looking
have,
at? Obviously,
you've got
DCs.
MCU, DCEU,
Star
Godzilla.
Wars.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess Star Wars you could
Star
call it, but
Wars
I'm talking about like of recent, since Marvel's rise.
John Wick.
Right.
John Wick, but I think if you go Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle or
Comes Home.
Yeah, Comes Home. That's the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Nun.
The Curse of La Llorona.
Of La Llorona.
Yeah, they're like 8 movies deep, dude. To your point.
And now this one, I think they're close to 8. That's a lot here, man.
I think we're building.
That's a lot.
Think we're building to come together.
Like a Sinister Six of super demons.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Or hunters. Like just like a crossover.
Could you imagine
episode.
like an Avengers horror movie, like where like all of the bad guys from all these horror movies come together, and like
I reckon
the protagonists from these
I'll
horror
bet
movies
you
have to come together.
within the next 20 years we see it.
I wouldn't be surprised. Someone's building it right now.
In Avengers, fucking pageant
I'll bet you they start with Invisible Man with Lee Whannell's Invisible Man.
Okay.
Just build it off that shit. Why not?
Yeah.
They had that whole dark universe planned. I don't think is no longer.
That still made
happen.
me so sad.
Yeah.
That
Mummy
mummy
can still do it.
The mummy thing was like such a cool idea, and then they just decided to make it a superhero thing. They should have just made it like a remake and made it scary. It could have been so great.
Yeah.
Shout out Tom Cruise.
Dude, the Mummy shit is awesome.
The originals?
I love the Mummy.
Oh, just like
man.
the mummy vibes, the genre mummy movies.
Like, well, yeah, I'm a big fan of like Egyptian gods and
it might be my favorite,
like
low key my favorite of the Universal monsters. That might be a wild call, but like,
yeah,
if you go like Dracula, Frankenstein,
cool,
werewolf, mummy, Invisible Man, like,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
You picking a favorite out of those? Mine's Mummy, I think.
I don't think that's. I don't think that would be the bottom of my list by any means. Of those 5, it's certainly up there. I have seen a few of those originals. I haven't in a long ass time. But
No, I'm just talking about as a concept.
Okay, yeah.
Out of those
sure,
monsters.
Okay. Out of those monsters, Mummy. What was it? Mummy.
This is good.
Mummies are cool.
Mummy, Dracula.
Mummy, Dracula. We're on a tangent earlier.
That's
I said
fine.
we were
It's
going to
a
be
casual
loose.
one, man. We can do whatever we want.
So, all right. So, Mummy, Frankenstein,
Frankenstein.
Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula's probably a unanimous winner, though.
I mean,
like,
that's a
in
big
terms of-
guy. That's a big one. That's a big
Yeah,
one.
he's
Right. Yeah.
Werewolf, Invisible Man.
I forgot about that.
I'll even throw Creature of the Black Lagoon in there.
okay.
You got to pick a favorite
Yeah.
out of those guys.
Personal favorite, probably Invisible Man.
Yeah, that is cool. That's
I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying as a movie. I'm just saying as like just
just
as a
as
concept?
a
Yeah.
as a
As a
character,
character.
as a monster.
I'd go Invisible Man.
Werewolves are pretty cool, man. I
Yeah,
like werewolves.
werewolves are cool.
I do like werewolves, though.
But yeah, I think Mummy like really, the Mummy just aspect just sticks with me.
Yeah.
and it's truly scary.
yeah.
Yeah, mummies are fucking terrifying. They're basically zombies just wrapped up, right? I mean, essentially.
Well, it's a curse rather than a,
Okay, yeah. No, I guess you're right. There's a distinction to be had.
And I think
Well,
the
I mean,
mummy's more
werewolves are
intelligent
also-
generally too.
Werewolves are also curses,
Sure,
though, right?
sure.
That is
For the most
yeah,
part.
that's true. Right? Werewolves traditionally, I think, were curses.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you seen an American Werewolf in London?
I have not, man. I know everything it holds, right, and for
Right.
cinematic value, but I've never sat down and watched that movie. That's like an '80s joint,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We should
Yeah.
check that out sometime
I've
too.
not seen it. I don't even know if I've heard of that.
American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, but it sounds
Yeah,
intriguing.
it's really popular.
Yeah, it's a horror classic,
Okay.
like for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Landis.
Cool.
All right,
One
well,
of your Big Brothers films.
definitely one of the Big Brothers
Yeah.
films. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's almost like an older cousin film too.
yeah.
True, yeah. But that's the guy that introduced it to your brother.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Sure.
He's 2 generations above you. It's
Right.
your older brother's older brother film.
Yeah.
I'm joined today, of course, by not going down there, Nathaniel Ginger.
So my Conjuring,
Yep,
Conjuring
yep.
name.
I've
Yeah,
got
I
him,
think that's a
like
good
it.
one for me.
got 'em all lined up.
Though, would you go in the room? You hear it knocking downstairs? Are you heading down there?
Which room?
No way, dude.
You're upstairs.
In Conjuring 1 or 2?
No, you move into
Or
your
just-
you're
okay.
moving to your house.
All right, I got a mental image here.
I'm derailing us a lot.
That's
early.
fine, man. This
Yeah,
is
we
what the
are.
casual
Let's-
episodes are
let's-
for.
This is a good conversation to have because it's very easy, as we kind of said last time about horror movies, to put yourself in that position and be like, oh, like fuck that, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I would just get up and leave.
Right,
it's
so-
definitely a good talking point.
It's
Just moved
it's
in.
the thing. Yeah, you've moved into a new house. You're a family man now.
Of course.
You've got because they're always a family now.
Yeah, you can't.
For sure.
You can't be a
Yep.
single man. in
But
this
but you
house.
think everyone's asleep,
Okay.
and it's got to be the initial thing, right? You hear the knocking downstairs,
Okay.
and sure you start to investigate, but then
Okay.
maybe it's like you see the front door. And then, like, you go to turn off the light, and then you look back down, and just as you go into the room, the door's open again, and then you hear the knocking.
yeah.
And
I'm
then
good.
you hear the
No,
knocking.
I'm good. I'm going upstairs. I'm waking up my family. We're all getting in one room, calling the cops.
for
That's
sure.
it.
Okay,
That's it.
okay.
For sure.
That's it. No, if I look, see the door closed, and especially if I know I locked that door.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a knock. It's a knock that wakes you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a knock that wakes you up. You know everyone's asleep. You go to the top of the stairs. You look down. You see the front door.
You see, it's open.
Yep.
And I know I locked it.
But
'cause there's
then
no way I'm leaving that motherfucker unlocked.
yeah. So you turn off the hallway. You go
I'm
to
going
turn
in.
aside, and then you hear another knock. The door's open, and then you hear a third knock, but you don't see where it's coming from. The door is open. There's a third knock.
Dude, I might not even get back to my room before I'm activating 911 on my Apple
Okay,
Watch.
but
like,
now-
I'm
Yeah,
sprinting.
dude.
But now we
Yeah, like-
twist it up. We go one more James Wan level.
Okay.
All right, and your kid walks out from downstairs.
Rest in peace, man. He's out. He's done. I can't.
That's tough.
You know,
that's what puts you in
here's,
the dilemma.
here's my yeah.
I want to save my kid, but like my kid might be on some weird shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in the suburbs and this shit's happening, I'm just calling 911 if that door's open like that.
Going in.
I can't, and then I got to find some kind of weapon. Hopefully, hopefully my kid isn't possessed. because that'd be a
If
very
he is, I'm punching him in the face.
yeah. I was gonna say that'd be a very hard thing to do.
I was
but
gonna say
there's-
that's the next question. So
I think I just stand
some
there.
tough
I think I don't
decision-making.
think I move. I think I
Oh,
freeze.
you freeze. Oh yeah, you're deer in the headlights for at least a second or two.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's
As the
that's
adrenaline
realistic answer, for
hits
sure.
you harder than it ever has.
For sure.
Because even I have those, you have those moments when it's dark in your house or
Oh,
at night, and
sure, of
it's still
course.
it's 2 or 3 a.m. and you think you see something in the dark, and logically nothing's there, but that just initial pump of adrenaline is enough to keep you up a little bit longer. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Have you
It's
ever
so
had
funny.
like something fall down in the room and you come out from like the dead sleep?
No, I've never had that.
Like a
happen.
picture
No.
frame come off the
No.
wall or something, or like a
No.
That's probably
I've had
terrifying.
like, yeah, I would lose my shit. There were
I would
times where
lose my
like
shit.
I was at home a lot as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
like alone. Like there was a point in my life where like my mom was gone, like everybody was gone, so I
Sure.
was just home, and I wasn't even watching anything scary, but I heard something just go down hard in the bathroom. That's like literally in eyesight, and I was like,
oh sure, like a soap bottle or something.
Mhm.
and I was like, dude, nobody's in there. I've been here the whole night. Like
Yeah.
that was
sure.
loud as fuck. And then like I just left it alone, and then I went back in there like 45 minutes later because I had to go pee, and I looked in the shower like all like,
Yeah.
I've done that before.
and there's just like a soap bottle like there, and I was like, fuck, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had those kind of small things happen to me, like a curtain falls or whatever, when I was younger.
Curtain falls.
All right, this is gonna. Okay, now I gotta explain this. We for a long time in my house when I was younger had just paper curtains, like the temporary ones you're supposed to have in your windows.
Okay.
And we just never
Oh,
really
like
got them
blinds.
replaced. Yeah, blinds.
For some
sorry,
reason,
not
I was thinking
curtains.
like
My bad.
shower curtains.
Curtains
like you
are,
were just.
cur-
you
no,
just
you're
had
100% correct. Curtain was the wrong word to use there. Blinds,
Gotcha.
yeah, like the paper blinds, and like sometimes randomly the clips would just fall. And logically,
Got it.
they
Yeah.
just weren't very
I know
strong
what you're
clips
talking
or
about, for
whatever,
sure.
and sometimes they would just fall, or a gust of wind would knock them, whatever it is. But like as a kid, I'm like, this house is fucking haunted,
Sure.
Yeah.
and no one knows but me, of course. I'm gonna wake up.
I'm the key.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I'm not going down there, Nathaniel, as we've established.
We're also joined by Time to Go Tyler Vidalis.
Ooh, I like that
Time to go.
we've always
Time to go, man.
we've got a narrative going on here. I'm like, no, not going down there. Ty's like, time to go.
Yeah, man.
Right.
That's my
We
reaction
gotta,
to all
we
these
gotta get
things.
the fuck out.
Yeah, we're getting out, man. I saw that dresser move across the floor, and we're already at the neighbors. All five.
I like
of
that
us.
I'm the voice of reason.
Well,
It fits you though.
I mean, I think
Like,
if like I said people let's go, that's one thing. But like Ty, you're a man's man in some ways, and I would if I heard you say, all right, we're leaving, that's when I know shit's about
Yeah,
to go
you're the
down.
officer Brad
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
For sure. If I'm anywhere and something like weird or something like that happens in terms of like paranormal, and even Ty's like,
If
yeah, dude,
Ty's
fuck
freaked
that.
out,
I know it's
yeah,
like, yeah,
it's
because I'm
serious.
already like, yeah, dude, fuck that before it even gets bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
if Ty says that, I know it's crazy.
it's shit's about to go
I'm like
down.
your canary in the mines.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Exactly.
Nope. I'm out. We gotta go.
Oh man! And rounding out the squadron, of course, is bet your ass I'm selling that house, Blake. What's up, Blake?
What's up, man?
I think it's big. Big bet your ass I'm selling that house,
Yeah.
Blake.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. I mean that was actually funny because I forgot what I think it's actually in the first one. So I guess we can just kick it right off. for
Sure,
both
yeah.
countries.
Sure, The
But I think that actually
Conjuring.
happens in
A
the
little
first one
disclaimer at the
where,
beginning. We're probably going to just kind of flow right into it. We're doing full spoilers this entire episode, so if you haven't seen Conjuring 1 or 2, just beware. There's not,
Yeah.
it's a scary movie. There's not like super huge things to spoil, but you still want to be spooked.
Yeah, they've been out for a while. You've
Yeah,
had a
that
chance.
too.
If you're listening to this, you probably,
You've
You know
probably
what you're in
seen
for.
it or rewatched it recently, like us. So
and it is a scary movie too. So there is a general portion of the population that will just see us doing this again and just be like, nope. So
yeah. So listener beware. But you were saying, Blake.
Yeah, and I would say that's actually a good point, and I caught myself kind of laughing at it. It was in the first Conjuring where something weird happens, right? Then they originally have somebody come out. I think it might have been a priest or something. I'm drawing a blank, but nonetheless, he sits them down, and they're kind of like, okay, well, like, why don't you guys just like move out? And like, well, we don't have any money. We have all the money tied up in
everything's
the
tied up
house.
in the house.
And I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
though, 'cause it's
yeah,
almost
no,
like no
100%.
matter how bad something is, like you're not gonna purchase a house and then something bad happens and you're like, fuck that, let's just sell the
Well,
house.
that shit's legally binding.
Like that was like a laughable
Right.
assumption to me. You know what I mean? I was
Well,
like, who would ever do that?
it's almost funny because you could kind of see the evolution too, because they actually, obviously in Insidious, the previous film written and directed by James Wan, or written and directed by James Wan, they move as well, and he tells the story of when they sat down to start working on the pre-production or creative process on Insidious. They made a big list of haunted house cliches, and the first one he wrote down was "the family moves." Like, or the family needs to move, and he just wanted to. There's just things they wanted to avoid, and reasons for doing it. So that's why in Insidious they move, but now in this one you can almost just be like, you can almost read that as like he's like, okay, well now he's made it even more realistic. Of course, yeah, because you just got a bunch of money tied up in it.
Yeah, that's something.
You can't make that decision.
That if that goes unanswered, it's an easy critique to just say, why don't you just leave? So it's nice that he addresses it in both of these.
Yeah. Big side note on this, and we're going everywhere, but I think that's why Sinister is great. Because huge spoiler alert on that if you guys haven't seen that. I mean,
I'll play the spoiler warning. Hold on. Spoiler for Sinister. Come back in a minute when you hear the second spoiler.
Yeah. So spoiler alert.
Have you seen Sinister, Adam?
Nah, I probably won't remember
man.
this spoiler anyway, though.
You should watch it, bro. You should watch it. I think Nathaniel knows the point. That
I know where
has
you're
to do
going with this.
Moving and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And that's why that movie's super dope. Because you do that, then it's like, oh shit.
False spoiler warning, folks.
Yeah.
We're back out.
So yeah, man. But I like the first Conjuring. I like them both, and I don't know if you guys want to talk about one and then two. Or
Yeah,
just
let's
kinda
start it
go
off with
back and
one.
forth.
Yeah, we
That
want
seems
to
like
kind of do the
natural thing.
IMDb introduction.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've got them both up right here. This is The Conjuring 1. The OG, 2013. Man. Comes in at a whopping 1 hour and 52 minutes. The shortest of the three. I don't know what 3 is at, but 2 is definitely long.
3 is the shortest, I think,
is it?
technically. Yeah, I was looking at it yesterday, and it's by like 3 minutes. I think like
Okay.
this one's like 154.
Okay.
The number 2 is like 220, and then 3 is like 151 or something.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It comes out at 152. So this is just the same time it looks like, according to IMDb.
There you
Directed by James Wan, written by Chad Hayes and Carrie W. Hayes.
First James Wan and not written by Lee Winnell or having any writing Lee Winnell credits.
No?
They're still good homies, but they're just not. They don't work as a co-team anymore.
Yeah, sometimes you got to branch out on your own.
That's
you know?
true. Well, they're both pretty successful.
Yeah, sure. Starring one Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, who we saw in. We already had one. Did we have her in something we watched already?
I was gonna say The Departed, but then I realized we haven't done The Departed yet. Ty, we lost your video. Are you still here?
I am still here as long as you can still hear me.
Okay.
Yeah. So you might just want to just cut your video off.
Yeah, you guys are okay. Keep going.
Um,
I'm still here. I'm still listening.
Cool.
Gotcha. Yeah. Go ahead, Nathaniel. Continue.
Oh, we were trying to figure out what we saw Vera Farmiga and if she was in on our list already.
I feel like she was.
I don't think she's.
I'm looking
in.
at.
Oh, she's in Godzilla King of Monsters.
There you
That's
go.
what it is. That's what it is. And then also starring Ron Livingston and Lily Taylor.
Lily Taylor, yep.
And then there's a child actress I recognized who plays one
Joey
of the kids.
King, I want to say.
believe it's that one, Joey King, who was Beezus and Ramon and Beezus, kids movie.
She's been in something else too that I recognize her from.
I can check her IMDb, of course.
Mackenzie Foy too is one of the kids. She's been in multiple like horror things as a scary kid. I feel like too.
She's also in Interstellar.
That's what I'm thinking of too. Yeah,
I love that movie.
great movie.
Yeah, Joey King is in a lot actually. Looking at her IMDb, she's in a lot of stuff you'd recognize. So, you've probably seen her somewhere.
Man, do you remember the buzz around this? I feel like this was the first horror movie in a long time that was like people were talking about it, and like it felt like everyone was going to go see it.
Yeah, I think at the time, this was 2013, so this was the summer of 2013. I remember it was right after I graduated high school. I think the only comparable thing you could probably put to this, or and it'd have to go back years before. You probably have to go to the first Paranormal Activity.
That's just what I was gonna say. I think it was Paranormal Activity would have been the thing before this.
And that's like what, 07, 06?
Yeah,
Something like
07. Yeah, and that would have been like just around the time of Paranormal Activity 3 too. That could have been like just the one
they're
before.
still cranking out sequels.
So but yeah, I remember this being the summer of like my freshman year of college or something like that, and it coming out and just like being like thing. And it I think it still is one of the like highest rated R-rated horror movies of all time. It hold the record for like the biggest opening at the time, and now it's I think it either is still up there or is like 1 or 2 at this point.
I think it actually had that record for a while, so I think It Chapter 1.
Oh, that's right. I think you're right. I think It Chapter 1 did pass it.
But yeah, so I mean, directed by James Wan. I mean, we've kind of went on and heralded him when we talked about the Saw series briefly, right? He did the first one of that.
Insidious.
Everyone kind of understands.
Insidious.
Oh, I totally forgot. Yeah, we did Insidious as well. I think he did the first 2 Insidious
He did, yeah.
movies, right? So yeah, he's just a mastermind when it comes to horror. He's done a lot of things. And the first
Furious
2,
7.
He did Aquaman as well. So
Pretty cool
he's
movie.
branched out. He's done a lot of stuff, to be honest with you guys. And I think this was Insidious was probably his first good hit, but I think this was like his first home run in terms of horror.
Right. This is his kind of culmination, I feel like, as a horror film director. The Conjuring franchise is kind of that's gonna be his flagship series. You know, maybe Saw for obviously kind of big cultural impact, but he kind of took over. I feel like in a lot of ways that Wes Craven crown, where like you have the Saw franchise, you have the Insidious franchise, you have the Conjurings, and you know your Dead Silence, which a lot of people forget about too, and just different genres within the horror genre, but still putting a stamp on each one of them.
Yeah,
looking at his IMDb, and he's producing The Nun 2, but also The Crooked Man.
Yes, yeah.
So I guess
Off
that's
of
getting
the second
its own,
one.
Yeah, I
as
guess
well.
that's getting its own.
Yeah,
spin-off.
well, after the success of the original The Conjuring, he signed a production deal or a distribution deal along with New Line Cinema, very similar to how Wes Craven did actually with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So after The Conjuring, pretty much everything in the Conjuring universe is done through his production arm, Atomic Monster. So he has made a lot of money off of all of this too.
yeah.
Well, the first Conjuring IMDb summary reads as follows. A paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. Short and sweet, just like the concept of the movie. I mean, nothing too fancy here. Just your good old-fashioned haunting, but it's fun and directed very, very well.
Yeah, real big throwback in style to the 1970s horror films for sure. A lot of kind of medium-length establishing shots, a lot of really smooth camera work, not a lot of mobile movement to it, with the exception of kind of the handycam moments, for sure. Juan always seems to find any excuse to shoot under really harsh lighting, but he films it like it's like a traditionally lit movie. It's really kind of interesting. It's something that you kind of can see from all the way from Saw through Insidious up into the Conjuring movies as well. Anything he could shoot in like irregular lighting for effect, he goes for. But yeah, just a really great sense of style. Introduce us to Ed and Lorraine Warren, which have kind of become the heroes of this franchise, it seems.
This takes place in 1971, so not really. It's not really a period piece, I would say, but like, you know, it takes place in the past, of course, not with modern technology, which I think is fun with what they do with how they're trying to capture these paranormal events with like. He shows her like the UV light and stuff, and that was kind of funny.
For sure.
Then I think we watched the first one together I watched it with Ty. We watched it together, and when he pulls out the microphone that he's currently recording with Nathaniel.
It's in our rewatch.
Yeah, he's got this big ass shotgun mic. It's really funny. I don't know. I just like how that was played into it and everything.
Well, it's a movie that pays homage to a lot of the movies that came before it, and it is kind of this culmination, I feel like, to like a lot of what Juan has been working towards. You see the DNA, a lot of Insidious in certain moments in there too, of like bringing the team together to kind of investigate these experiments and everything, and kind of it follows some of like they kind of go through the seance and everything. And then you have those moments of like Saw flashback built into it as well, and some of like the ghosts are very reminiscent of the Dead Silence style monsters as well, and like it's all of these little elements that Juan's been working for the whole time, all kind of mashed together and then like put into this Exorcist style blender and brought out on a screen. It's really cool.
Yeah. Let's see what's Ty, do you have anything you want to chime in here with?
I think overall I'm a little bit more on the first one than the second one.
Okay.
But I think that's just because Adam and I watched it together, and that was the first time I've seen the first one in a while, whereas if I've seen the second one a little bit more recently. But I mean, yeah, there's just some really, really great things that are done on both these films that we wouldn't have some of the stuff that we're used to now without it. And I think the first one does some pretty special things, especially for how it made me feel at the time that it came out. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on here.
I mean, it's a movie famous for earning an R rating basically solely on the merit of how scary it was.
Yeah.
Right, because there's not a ton of gore.
No.
There's not much at all, really.
No, that's it. And there's very little. There's not really any sex or anything like that.
So there's not really nudity.
There's not really any profanity really either. I think they basically shot this as a PG-13 movie, but it's just so damn scary that you're just like, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is like matches Insidious level of like we said, nudity, profanity, and gore.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yet it's got the R rating just for how not safe for 13-year-olds this is. Yeah, I think I just really like the story in this one. It's not too complex. It's very kind of standard, but like even with that, you like the characters a lot. Ed and Lorraine are great. I think are two really good main protagonists to have, and that's throughout all three of these. Or I haven't seen the third one yet, but at least through the two of these, they are really, really good.
Well, yeah, it's because in your heroes and in a horror film, they're kind of the perfect match, right? Because it's the church style of demonologists, which always lends kind of credibility in these. They're always the kind of the ones that, like, I don't know for me personally, but possession movies are always the ones that, like, I'm like, well, that one might happen.
Right.
I was raised in a Christian household. Like, if you had God, you had to have the other side of things. Like, I wasn't too afraid of the slashers. I was never really afraid of like the universal monsters like we were talking about earlier. I wasn't afraid of zombies, but demons, cards on the table. I don't know.
Yeah, no. We talked about early on in the podcast, like what my kind of horror, like what gets me in horror, and these are the kind of movies that it's hard for me to watch. These kind of just paranormal movies, the ghosts and everything like that. Like, these are the ones that really get me. You watch them like The Strangers, and like I can actually like watch that just because it's suspenseful,
right?
But it's like, and there are jump scares, but these are the ones that like are like, holy shit, these actually terrify me,
right,
to an extent.
Yeah. And yeah, and I think like you guys said, to kind of harp back where we were at in terms of the profanity and the language on this, it's I caught myself as I rewatched both of these and even the third one for that matter, just kind of picking up how there's not a lot of profanity, opposed to like watching the Evil Dead remake, which is something I haven't seen in a while. But there's just so much profanity, especially when you think of like Satanists or like demons like talking. Right, where there's so much stuff like that, and it mentions like rape and things.
Yeah,
of that
a lot
nature.
of times they'll try and shock you with violent language. Yeah,
right, and like that stuff never happens. And even when I thought it'd be very minimal.
Right,
and that's definitely refreshing. But I think that just goes to show just how in depth James Wan was thinking on this stuff, where he's like, hey, that's not even like the message we're trying to get across. Right, we're not going for that type of horror.
Right, and just to finish my thought from earlier too, because it came back to me as well. in like in kind of following up on that with Ed and Lorraine, you have the church side of things, which leads like kind of that credence to it, and then you have Lorraine, who's the clairvoyant, who's like the other side of ghost movies that you always see. You always see the clairvoyant coming in. And it's like having them both together kind of makes you get the best of both worlds because you get to have like both those genres in there too, and I think that just like leads you to double as many horror moments.
You double down on it, man.
Exactly.
When you're invested like that with the good characters, because it's one thing to have a horror movie that's very scary and jump scares and all that stuff, but it's another when you have a good story and good characters that you're invested in too, because it's like it makes it much harder to look away compared to like something like a Ouija, where like those are just throwaway characters that are in these circumstances, and they're only in those circumstances for the sake of horror and being in those circumstances. But when you have a story like this with compelling characters, it makes it even more effective with all these scares and everything.
Yeah, and even comparing it to Insidious, I mean, I just really like this film a lot because you do get a background on to Nathaniel's point when he's like, hey, you get to see like the team come in and solve a case. You get the background on Ed and Lorraine Warren, where opposed to Insidious, you don't really get that background on Elise and her team.
Right, yeah.
Where you see them like they travel around, right? They're going to universities and like, hey, this is the research we've done. This is why we think this stuff is real. Right.
You start the movie with them separate, and then you start with them in two different places, and then it's how they meet together too.
Right. It's not just like, oh shit, something happened, let's call a guy up.
Right.
And the guy happens to be Ed and Lorraine Warren. Right. That's like you see that all the time in horror movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you don't really get the background on them, and I think that just kind of it fits well, man. And I like it more than the second one. I would say that. I know we're kind of talking about both of them right now. Yeah. So yeah, I think if I was a betting man, I would bet we probably all feel the same way. Is that safe to assume?
I was gonna ask, is that everybody's thought on that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think the second one's probably, for me, it's pretty up there as far as sequels go.
Yeah.
The first one's just always the first one, so it's fresh and new to you. There, where you come into the second one with more expectations, obviously, and kind of like it's all how they subvert those. But yeah, I think they're pretty darn close for me.
Yeah, and when I was watching the first one on HBO Max, I thought maybe they had cut a scene, and I couldn't tell you. Nonetheless, I'm really glad because you don't see the demon or the witch, whatever you want to call her, right, until the end. You see her very few glimpses. You see her when she's like the scare when she's above the dresser,
on like the wardrobe thing.
Yeah, which that's probably the best scare in that movie. That's
one that a lot of people talk about for sure.
Yeah.
Which one?
I think
when it cuts to her on top of the dresser.
Oh,
right.
Sure.
When they're playing hide and clap, right, and then all the tension leads up to her.
Oh well, no, that's
the wardrobe.
They hear knocking from within the wardrobe, isn't it? It's something from within the wardrobe.
Sure.
And then she goes to open it.
The little sister
right,
banging her head on it.
Yeah.
And then she puts her sister to sleep, right? And then she still hears banging. She opens it up.
Yeah, because
the camera goes back and forth,
Yeah.
and you finally see it above her. And I think that's one of the better jump scares. But that's really the only time you see the witch, right? Until the end.
Me and Nathaniel have it on the TV. She's in the bedroom with the mother when she actually goes and possesses her, and you see that happen. That she like vomits in her mouth or whatever.
Nathaniel and I were talking about when the sheet flies off.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
And stops on her, and then it floats up to the window, and then it hits the window, and in the window is
the witch. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that like then you like actually get a realization of how fast these spirits or demons or whatever you want to call them can move. It brings a whole new like scare level. Like, well, you were just here and now you're up there, and I didn't even know you were here, so I don't even know what you're capable of.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's just. I think that's just such an effective like shot and scare almost when that sheet blows off and you see the outline. You're like, oh my, there's someone right next to you, and then you obviously can't see them, and then it blows up to the window. Yeah.
I remember that one from the trailer.
It was in the trailer.
Me too.
Yeah, and it sucks that they ruin something like that. It's hard for horror movies to make trailers and not spoil things with that kind of stuff. Because if I saw that first time watching it and just didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, that's up there with speaking of it, the one in the chapter 1, the projector.
Yeah. Yeah, because that
one that
projects.
gets
Oh yeah, that's a really good scare on first
It
watch.
is, man. But,
Without a doubt.
but it's in the
Yeah.
trailer too. That's what
No, not the end of it though.
Oh, the end. Oh, yeah. You're right.
You see him moving, and then
Yeah. What is that your favorite scare then, Blake? I was about to ask, what are your guys' favorite scare in this one?
Of the
the
first
clap
one?
is good too.
Dude, that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
but that was in the trailer though, and I
Yeah,
hate
but
that
it's
it was in the
still-
trailer.
it's
that would be
still-
the
That was, like,
perfect
the
one if it
main-
wasn't.
Yes,
in the
I know.
trailer.
If it was in the trailer,
That was the best one by
that's
far.
incredible. I still think, even though it is in the trailer, and I saw this, I think the first time in like 2015, 2016. Actually, maybe even later than that, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. So, I saw that in the trailer and just remembered that. And even while I still remembered that and I knew it was coming, it was still so scary the first time I watched it. Just 'cause that's just so the whole, even all of the hide and clap scares that they do, all three, I think they do it 3 times. They're all so fucking like unnerving. Because they do the one where the mother's playing and she goes into the room with the wardrobe, and she opens it and she's not even in the same room. Like, you're like, oh
She's
man,
behind her.
yeah.
And the James Wan is so good at making the jump scares worth it, where it's not just like random shit popping out. Like, there's so much tension that leads up to it.
I think it's
and then
because
never where you think it's coming from.
and I also
right?
think it's because he a lot of times doesn't accompany it with a musical sting.
Right.
Either it's he just lets the audio that makes you jump work for itself too, or like it's the I'm sorry, Blake, go ahead, you continue your thought as well with that.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, to your point, yeah, there's no audio cue to it, like I said, and it's never where you think it's coming from. I think he's really good at panning the camera and doing the things of that nature where, hey, it looks like it may come from this side, or there's times where I think the easiest way to explain that is when Lorraine is playing with like the mirror thing.
Yeah.
Where on paper you're like, okay, the jump scare's probably gonna come behind her. But like there's every once in a while you'll see the little boy in the mirror.
Right.
And
It's kind of his sense of rhythm of when to use it in the shots and where it goes and at what point you're gonna fake and what point you're gonna come through is just really, really tight. Particularly on this film. I think it's a little bit better on this one than it is on the second one. Because as good as the second one is just a little bit long in my feeling.
Yeah, we'll get to
it's
that.
got way too many jump scares.
Yeah. Ty, you got a favorite scare?
Yeah, the sheet is a really good one.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
I also really like almost right off the bat, she walks out to the dock, and then
The feet.
Ed Warren's walking towards her, and then you just hear like the creak of the tree, and then like you just know that like something's gonna be there, and she's just terrified. And it's wild.
What do you?
Oh, the other one too that really kind of like grips me a little bit is the one where she sees her daughter in the lake.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna say
And
that.
she runs inside and has to call the grandma.
That's what.
Like
And then
that, her screams, like when women scream like that, and it's like blood curdling, like I need help, like this is danger kind of scream.
Yeah,
like
it's
I'm like, oh my god.
that kind of brings up the other thing that I was gonna say. What are your guys' feeling of the Annabelle subplot that kind of goes on here, and how you kind of
How they built
start
that
with
universe.
the cold open?
Yeah. I like it.
Well,
It's much easier to appreciate it now that there's a universe to it.
I just like it because it makes it gives you a background on them and helps you kind of like figure out who they are, and like it gives them some credibility because there's obviously a lot of shit in that room, and that's just kind of how you're seeing them first. So I think it plays cool to that, and you really don't even know what Annabelle is at that time. So then it's just obviously like then you figure it out. But yeah, on Blake's point, I think it's cool that you really don't know that they're gonna build a universe off of it, and then there ends up being like 3 movies for it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
It's just a good way to introduce the characters too, because it just transitions into them giving their like TED talk on it, their presentation on it, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, so like, they're paranormal hunters or they're you also see, I like that you see that they're trying to educate people about it and try to get the word out there that these things are real. They're not just you're not just skeptics or anything like that, and they're trying to publicize this and destigmatize the whole haunting thing, which I think is a cool aspect to their dynamic. Any other big notes here we have on the first one, guys?
Not much. I would say one other scene that I do like, and I think that's the only scene that still kind of gets me to this day, outside of kind of the jump scares that we were just kind of referencing. The scene where they finally show, I can't think of the witch's name, but when they finally show her in the basement, right, like when she's like crawling around, and she's kind of got the sheet over. And then there's one scene where Lorraine finally calls her by her name, and then the camera goes to her face, and you can see her face in full. That scene like gets me every time.
Yeah,
there's some really good makeup done with these. They can hide a lot of different things, and still make it look really scary. But there's you virtually almost have to have no CGI whatsoever, which is really special. And that's one thing I really like about a lot of horror movies is you don't really have to use a ton of like CGI special effects.
Yeah.
You can still get away with using makeup and costume in today's world of film
for sure
in a horror movie without having to use any of that stuff, and it still plays a really cool part to it.
I have some thoughts on that when we discuss number 3.
Oh yeah,
I have not watched 3. So.
I haven't watched it either.
We'll get to that, man. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Nathaniel. I was watching too, and I was just like, what we're doing? So on to the second one. Who wants to?
Well, yeah, I have some final thoughts, or one last final thought, and I don't know if Nathaniel does either. But this is more of towards the directing. It's I pointed out to Ty when we were watching it together, but it's towards the end in the climactic sequence where he has the shot upside down, basically from the second floor looking into the first floor hallway. It's upside down. You follow Lorraine down the hallway, and then it follows her, and then pans up to, I think his name is Drew, or the assistant, the Asian college student basically that's helping them out. It pans up to Drew on the second floor, and then he does it the other way too, where a cut or two later he is following Drew on the second floor, and then he pans back down to follow Lorraine as she heads back downstairs. Like those two shots together, I thought were really, really cool, and just really, really smooth.
Yeah, one thing I love about Juan is if you follow his career, you can really, really just follow his progression and see what he takes from each film, to the point where you can also almost see like shots that he has taken with, experimented in one film, perfected in another, and just kind of brings them along in his kind of bag of tricks. And it's really, really cool to kind of see him and his progression as he's gotten better. I think... what was it? I had another kind of final thought forming. I forgot about Officer Brad. I like our just kind of our Officer Brad himbo that's like in there, just the muscle. I think it's a good idea.
It is, and he's also a skeptic, which is a kind of fun.
Yeah, I like
they
that.
At a couple times
that they bring in a police officer. I like that they're kind of very. Let's talk about this. What do you think of Ed and Lorraine as kind of characters in this universe now that there's kind of 2 movies and kind of going into the second one? Did you find the expansion of their arc? Because there's always a part of me in the back of my head that's going, these come with the based off the true story title tagline, and so like there's always this kind of element of, well, you are playing with history too.
To
here,
extent.
And so like I'm curious, what do you think of it as they kind of explore more and they go on? How do you feel about them as characters?
I think they really, and we'll get to this when we talk more about the second one, but I like them a lot, and I think they even build upon. They don't stop in the first one. Like, it's not like, oh, you already know who these characters are. They keep building their dynamic. They keep building their relationship, and the relationship changes. And I'll talk about that more and what I mean by that when we officially go into the second one. But Blake and Ty, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
You want to go ahead, Ty? Or you want me to
I can
speak
go.
on it? Yeah, okay.
I think it's really great. I haven't seen a lot of the other stuff in a really long time, like the other parts of this universe, like Annabelle, the Nun, stuff like that. I'd have to really go back and rewatch those to really kind of get a better grip on it. But for the first 2, I think they're really, really great in the first one when you just, kind of first meet them. And like I said, that room is just full of shit. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what else they've been through. And it's really cool
I'd be
that
so
they've been able
tempted to
to
try that
Dude, I
samurai
could
armor on.
sit for years and just listen to him,
Mhm.
and tell their stories. Because the stories are scary in itself, and it's pretty cool that you just get to kind of sit there and, open a new book every time we get one of these, and you're just kind of opening up a new chapter, and it's really cool. But I really like them as characters. I think they really drive and progress through everything, and yeah, they're
Mhm.
both obviously really great.
You totally buy them as like, oh, these people are out there too.
100%.
I
Yeah.
think Patrick
And-
Wilson. I might call him if anything ever goes bad.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be able to solve something. And
Yeah.
and I also like the family though. I think they're very
Yeah.
believable. I mean, they've got good chemistry between each other, between them and the daughters. So yeah, I mean, I think that stuff just you got to have good characters in a horror movie. Like that's like number one, right? You got to have
Sure.
characters. You got to have cast, right? That the audience is going to be attracted to. And I think
Yeah.
a family with kids, like a lot of people are like, hey, that's going to be me in the future. That's me now. Or like, I know people like that. I think that's what kind of makes this movie really digestible.
I actually did realize something when we were watching it because I was very curious. But
What's up?
I was looking at the age difference between all the sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and it's and Andrea and Nancy are the two oldest. They're actually
Okay.
the same age.
I was
In real
gonna say
life?
that too.
real
yeah.
life.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Which
gonna
is
look at
crazy
that.
because the actress Haley looks so much younger
Yeah.
than Schnally.
Is
And
which
in
one's the
Trial.
oldest one in the movie? Andrea, right?
Andrea, yeah.
Nancy's the one with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the same age. They're both
Huh.
born in 91.
Wow. Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And this came out in what, 2013? So they were
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, they'd be a year older than me.
She did,
Wow.
or the not Andrea, but Haley definitely plays a kid. Yeah, a lot younger than what 22 is what you said.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she
That's,
she
that's-
knocked that shit out the park.
Yeah, she did.
No, they would have been 20.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Either way.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, she's still playing like a 13 or 14-year-old.
Yeah.
But hey, some people look different at different ages.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
But overall though, yeah, man, I like it.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the better horror movies post 2010, right? I think most people would probably argue it's within the top 3.
Definitely top 5.
Um,
I mean, I don't even know a lot
yeah.
about horror, but I don't know how much more is.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
people are throwing this in there. They're throwing Get Out in there. They're probably throwing your Hereditary.
Yeah, I
in
was just
there.
gonna say, if not for Hereditary, I feel like this one would probably be. This one's
Yeah.
scarier than Get Out to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is also, this is more like classic horror, whereas like
For
Get Out's
sure.
kind of a thriller, and Hereditary is more psychological horror. This is like this when I think of horror, I could think of this is this movie. Like
Yeah.
this is the
And
about as
not
standard as it
to harp back on Hereditary, but even when Ty said like, yeah, just watching a woman like scream like that about children,
I was gonna
that's
mention
why
that earlier.
Hereditary is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That scene alone is just, it's hard to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to conclude our talk on Conjuring 1. We're going to transition over to Conjuring 2. I'll give you guys, we'll start with the IMDb summary here. This is 2016. So what, a 3-year gap?
3-year gap.
Was there any in between these? Was Annabelle in between these?
Yeah, the first Annabelle's came out, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I want to say.
La
it was just
Llorona,
that.
I think,
that's
was
it.
after this, and so was
Oh
the
yeah,
Nun.
La Llorona was pretty
Yeah.
recent.
Yeah.
And Annabelle Creation, I think is after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Which
Let
is
me double check.
terrifying.
Yeah, that might be the scariest movie in this sequence.
Man,
or in
yeah.
this universe.
If you
I
have
should
not
say.
seen Annabelle Creation, like
I don't know if
Annabelle
I want-
1's
I don't know if I want
Annabelle
to.
1 is definitely
So
like
bad.
not good. Annabelle 2, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Annabelle Creation is 2017.
That's a movie that
Annabelle is
had
2014.
that like had a jump scare in it for me that like is one that I'll take with me to my grave.
What Creation?
Yeah, it's the it's
which
also
one is
one
it?
where she like ends up in the wall, and then yeah, I think that's the one. It's one where you see the demon. It was a good reveal demon scene, and I was just like, oh man,
Yeah,
on
I know that
par
they
with
have,
the
that
with the
garage
Insidious
sequence
one.
is weird.
Yeah, the garage scene. It was if it wasn't the garage scene, it was like the one but right before the garage scene, I think.
Right.
Man, just thinking back to that Insidious scare.
That one's an
No,
all timer too.
That Insidious scare, I think that's probably the best jump scare on first watch I've seen in a long time.
Just out of nowhere, completely unexpected. No sound to accompany it.
Yeah, and just
Just
bam,
right in your face.
just
man.
into your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
That's James Wan, though.
But The Conjuring 2, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at a whopping 2 hours and 14 minutes, and you definitely felt all 2 hours and 14 minutes of it.
Yeah, but I kind of love it. I kind of love that these are just like these are horror epics. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It's not a 92-minute runtime.
Right, yeah. It's not a you're in, you're out, you know, because there's almost a rhythm to those ones. You know what I'm saying? Like you get the formula. It's a 5-body paragraph, you know?
Okay. Okay.
Start, thesis, body,
Yeah.
body, body,
Double space.
conclusion.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
Agreed.
I agree with you. I do like the idea that these are actual tales that happen or whatever, but like it was still a little long for me.
Yeah.
This one. But the IMDb summary reads as follows: Ed and Lorraine Warren travel to North London to help a single mother raising 4 children alone in a house plagued by a supernatural spirit. Yeah, same general concept-ish, just in London. And directed by James Wan, same writers, Chad Hayes, Carrie W. Hayes, and also James Wan accompanying them.
Yeah,
for
he'll
the writing
typically
credit.
throw a writing credit on there at some
Yep.
point.
But also starring Vera Farmiga once again. Same thing with Patrick Wilson. And who's the main star of this ensemble? would you
Frances
say?
O'Connor
Yeah,
is
Frances
the mom.
O'Connor's the mom. Madison Wolfe is Janet, the main kid.
Who's American, by the way.
Is she?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Great British accent. Wouldn't have known.
Yeah,
Surprise.
that is. Yeah, especially for a child.
Franca Potenta is in here of Run Lola Run fame.
Oh,
For a
okay.
couple of you film nerds out there, that's kind of a deep cut.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody else that's too recognizable here as far as I can tell. But yeah, I mean, besides that IMDb summary, they go to North London, where the house is plagued by it was Bill. I forgot his last name.
Bill Wilkins,
Something like that. Yeah,
Wilkins.
an old man this
Old
time,
Billy
not
Wilkes.
a old lady or a crazy mother or witch mother or whatever.
Well, was it or was it not?
Kinda. It turns out he was just a pawn, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting twist. This a demon a demon puppeteering a spirit, I guess. Is kind
Yes.
of the gist I got.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, that's
You know,
that's a
I'll buy
choice.
it.
Yeah,
I'll buy
I mean,
it.
I'm in.
say what you will about Juan. He constantly finds kind of ways to use classic horror ghost setups with different twists, whether it's the ether and Insidious and kind of the astral projection angle, or like the fact that the first one in this is a witch that brought in the curse.
Yeah, but I think the cool thing that's unique about the first one that I didn't mention but I have written down is that there's like kind of friendly ghosts or just the victims are ghosts too.
Yeah, sure.
You have Rory who
Yeah, the little boy.
Yeah, you
she
have Rory
friends,
who's like
yeah.
I don't think there's ever really that much of a scare with Rory. He's kind of a friendly ghost almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do see him. He's a little creepy, but he's not like out to get you.
Right.
So that's a little different in the first one, and then this one, like we already talked about, there's a master planner behind it all.
Sure.
Yeah,
Valak,
Baddock.
who it takes the form of a demonic nun.
Yeah, dude, that cold open because they do the same thing again, kind of similar to
They
the
tie this
Annabelle
one
thing.
into the Amityville horror.
Yes, the Amityville, which is a famous haunted house, isn't it?
Yes, so it was the first kind of media sensation haunted house of the let's call it TV media age.
Okay.
There had obviously been stuff with like newspapers before and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Supernatural's never far from the public eye in some
Yeah.
ways. But yeah, Amityville Horror is definitely the first kind of media sensation of the network TV age, we'll say.
Gotcha.
And is still famous today as possibly being a hoax, possibly not being a hoax. And obviously there is a very successful movie of the same name from the 70s as well.
Okay.
So 70s or 80s.
Sure. Well,
And a remake with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, half decent.
If you didn't know that.
did not. What year did that come out?
Oh, man. Early
04
2000s.
maybe.
okay.
Or like,
Okay.
yeah, 08, somewhere in there.
I was gonna say that's not a Ryan Reynolds film I'm familiar with. Despite this one being released 3 years later, it takes place 6 years later in 1976.
Sure. That's
Or did I
kind of
s-
cool. I think it allows them to kind
77,
of like,
I'm sorry, 77.
it allows them to kind of come into these different areas of the Ed and Lorraine's life too. It does allow some of like the natural progression as well of like their daughter is still played by the same actress.
Yeah.
Too.
For sure.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. But back to that cold open, man, that sequence in the basement is terrifying. In the mirror, I know that was another one that was in the trailer. I remember being in the trailer.
Sure.
But still, like, you see you see something behind you, it's not there. Then you looked back. It was like that third time and just kept getting closer, and then it's right behind her. I don't know. That was just something you see before. Like, it's like, oh, it's behind me in the mirror, but it's not actually behind me, and then you go back, and then there's a scare. But I don't know what it was about doing it that third time and just having the nun jump out of the mirror like that. I don't know what it was, but it got me too. Even again, another similar to the clap in the first one.
Yeah.
Seen it in the trailer, knew it was coming. Still like, holy shit, that's really freaky.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good scare, man. I mean, I like I said, I like the first one better. I still do value the second one a lot. The nun, there's a few of the nun scenes are just really creepy. To Adam's point, I think the second one where she's in her house.
Does the painting?
Yeah, I think that might
that
be
sequence
probably the
too
best
is
scare James Wan has.
Yeah, that's definitely probably one of my favorites of the second one. It's just
That shit is good.
The later one where she actually comes out and you see the hands like come around the painting. That one's not as effective.
Mhm.
But the first one where it's just the picture and or is that the second one?
Second one.
Like you guys said,
Yeah.
yeah, where the light turns off and then she goes and turns it on.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm out.
Yeah. Time to go.
Well, did you
Time to
know
go,
that
Ty.
Time to go.
the nun was not the original demon? There was a James Wan's gone on record talking about there was an original like animatronic puppet that was like more kind of a horned demon style thing. I've seen some artwork from
Like
it.
an
It looks pretty
Insidious.
cool. It's definitely like
But
darker.
not as cartoony.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
crazier than
Yeah.
the Insidious one. But he decided that he wanted to go to the nun side of things because it brought more into the idea of Lorraine questioning her faith and kind of tying that into the storyline a little bit deeper. And I think it worked out well for him. That is one thing I did find upon the rewatch that I just kind of forgotten. They are just like 100% in on God. Like they are,
Oh, yeah.
they are pretty
Yeah.
openly like, "Hey, are you baptized?" Like we are going through the church, and it's kind of cool to see a film just 100% buy into that.
Yeah.
Like that kind of harkens back to more
No,
of those 70s eras.
For sure,
films.
dude. It definitely feels almost out of place in that because I feel like nowadays
Yeah.
it's like that's taboo kind of to just be all in like that and,
Yeah.
and be very religious. But it plays in. It just goes all in. Plays
Yeah,
into
and I think
doesn't
it gives
be
it
shy about
something.
it at all.
Yeah, it gives it something to like regardless of your feelings on religion, the result on the story is that it forces you to just kind of buy into
Yeah.
their world a little bit more. I don't think any one of us is coming down heavy on one side or the other of that particular coin, but it's just interesting to see the film kind of make that statement and just go with that as a world building technique.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree with you. It was something I noticed when I was watching these back is they were just like 100% like God exists and we're fighting hell. We're fighting Satan and the devils that are invading, and I think that's cool. I like that. I like how it plays into Ed and Lorraine's characters. Like their faith is obviously something very important to both of them. So I was talking about earlier when we were talking about the first one about Ed and Lorraine, and I think they even play into their dynamic more in this one. I think the thing that really is effective for me is I like those stories that they tell to Janet, each of them about them seeing ghosts as children, and then
meeting each other.
Yeah, and then no one believes them, and they kind of keep that
Right.
to themselves all their lives, and then like the first time they like. When I found someone who actually believed them because they went through the same thing, they kept each other, they married each other, they figured, and then they also play that in with the God thing, where like God brought us together for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously believe that's some kind of like divine thing. And I buy into it. I like it a lot. I think it builds their character relationship even more. And like I said before, is if you're buying into that, so you're buying into the horror even more as well.
Sure. Yeah. How did you feel about the Crooked Man ghost?
Terrifying, but.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like it was very scary, and I wish we see more of it, and I guess we will in its spinoff. But
Yeah, I'm waiting on that spinoff, dude.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. As long as James Wan directs it, I'm cool.
he's on to produce. There's no directing credit as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
Give it
But,
to us.
Hey,
I
The
like it.
Squadron
Do you
takes
guys
on
like
the Crooked Man.
Do you guys like his jump scare? I mean, obviously, you see all the build up to it, right? With the tent, with the fire truck,
The
and like all those.
What is
scenes.
it? He pops up as a dog first in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he-
very brief.
He's their dog Baron.
That
and then
freaked me out for a second.
the transition was a little when you watch it now, it's not as
Yeah,
good.
I didn't
but
like it.
back. Yeah, when this came out, it was you
Well,
were probably
he's-
a little more like what.
He's still a real guy. He's played by an actor named Javier Botet, who has he has a condition. I think it's called Malfon syndrome, but he has this really tall, spindly body and can kind of move it very uniquely. And he
Contortionist.
shows up. He's very much kind of like our era's Doug Jones too, where he shows up as a lot of monsters. He plays the leper in It as well, and plays like the. The mama in Mama, the movie, as well.
Sure.
So like he's constantly playing different scary stuff, and under a lot of character makeup and stuff. But yeah, there is like a little bit. I know what you're talking about though too, Ty. There's a little bit of a like you can just your eye just knows that it's not quite the same thing as like it's just not makeup. You can just kind of tell too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with Ty on that, and I think that's why I like the other scare better, where it's with Ed when he's in the house, and then it finally like breaks out the tent, right? But then it like goes through the ceiling, and then he ends up coming out the other door, like,
Sure.
across the house. I think I like that scene a little bit more, but just the tension build up from the first time with the fire truck and the little boy, like that shit is excellent.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you think something's gonna come out and nothing does. It's just a fire truck.
just the fire truck, but you know it's
And
gonna
then
come back
eventually
too.
it hits you.
When he puts
Exactly,
it in, you're like, it's coming back. It's
Right.
It's coming
And then
back.
eventually an hour and 40 minutes later, it finally happens.
Yeah.
So like that stuff is excellent in horror, bro.
Yeah.
I do like what they did with the Crooked Man scene where he's walking, or well, she's walking down the hallway, but it's his shadow, and everybody can kind of see that, and then she was the one that walks in, and so I think that
Yeah.
was pretty effective as
Yeah.
far as like that piece went. But other than that, yeah, I know we're kind of moving on, but that was my last little piece about that.
No, we got time. Say what you want, Ty. Yeah, you haven't talked much about how do you feel about Conjuring 2?
I like it. I think there's, like I said, some pretty good things about this. I think there's so much more good things in the first one than there is in this one, which is why I like it a little bit more. And obviously, that was the first one of this universe, and I was just a little bit more bought in.
Is there anything specifically you like? You said you liked a few things more. Is there anything specifically you can point to that you like more in the second one?
I just like how you can get to like so many different places from all these different kids and all these point of views and everything like that. And it's cool because they do really well in both movies. You're in such a small set. But there's so much happening, and he does it very effectively to the point where everything is very seamless. And it's like that shot you were talking about where it's upside down and then it flips up. Like
Sure.
that makes it makes the journey from the basement to the top floor so much more than what it is because it's such a small set area.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of good things as in the second one as he did in the first one to make that transition very seamless. It helps progress the story, the overall plot, and he does it really well.
Do you guys think that you could break a floorboard? There's constantly people getting trapped under floorboards in these movies, and they're always able to just break through the center of these floorboards.
It's an old house, maybe it's old wood.
I don't know if I'm
dude,
strong
yeah.
enough, man.
I don't think so.
They're just
Yeah.
like
Old
grabbing
houses
a.
are built like shit brick houses, dude. Like those things are not. I mean, like that's like wood, not like.
Yeah, those are
compressed,
boards.
Stuff that we got now,
True.
right?
True.
I don't know. I guess it depends.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes
Maybe.
you get,
my child's under there,
mom or
maybe?
dad
Yeah,
strength,
that's what I was about to
what
say.
Yeah.
Maybe some dad strength or something like that.
Yeah.
Some primal takes over.
What do you guys think of the setting? Do you like that it's over in England? Do you think maybe that doesn't make it quite as accessible for you guys as well too? We're kind of the first one's your kind of basic, almost classic American haunted house, New England setting.
Yeah.
Whereas this is definitely a different vibe overall.
I don't mind it. I like it.
Yeah,
I like how
I like
they
that they
switched
went
it
for
up.
that.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't do something. I'm glad it wasn't like the Amityville house that they chose for the second one. Or yeah, I don't know. I like how it's different. I think it would have been.
I like in this one too that it is very questionable, like if it is
If it's
real
actually
or
a
not
haunting.
from their
Yeah.
perspective as well, and they play that pretty deep into the film
Yeah.
as well
Yeah,
too.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a big point in this movie too.
I think it shows a lot of maturity, and that's a lot of reasons like why I value this sequel so highly. Like in a comparison to even to like what we were talking about last week with The Quiet Place, the story that it brings up and the questions that it forces you to ask about their place in the universe, it's so character driven that they take the lessons from the first movie and they don't just rehash it out or kind of like just follow it out. It is the next chapter almost, and right. There's a really nice sense of continuity, I think, between the two movies
There definitely is. Yeah.
as well, and being different enough and unique enough to kind of set up on its own two legs too, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to your point, Nathaniel, those are definitely legitimate questions that they come up with because that's stuff that would happen in real life.
Oh,
Right?
100%.
If this were the case, right? Yeah, for sure. It's like, okay, well, like, how do we know this stuff isn't a hoax? How do we know that this family is not doing this as a cash grab?
Right.
And things of that nature. And I'm glad that they implemented that stuff in the movie.
And like kind of recognizing that your audience is going to naturally do that, and then just kind of like playing into that as well too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it just makes you identify with Ed and Lorraine even more because you're seeing things from their perspective as well. You can see how they would, it makes us understand them as oh, they're not just believers. They have that extra level of rationality.
Yeah,
to
and
them
they do
as
that.
well.
They do that in the first one when they go to that one guy's house. They're like, "Yeah, it's water through the pipes. That's
Sure, yeah.
vibrating
Yeah, I like
throughout
that
the
too,
house or
yeah.
whatever." And you see
Good
like
point, Adam.
they obviously believe in all this stuff, but they also
Yeah, they
are
know.
skeptics in themselves. And when they know that sometimes things people are just saying it's haunted and they're maybe overacting a little bit, and they got to be cautious about that.
I like that through the first two movies, Ed and Lorraine's kind of relationship is never really questioned. Like they are just two people that like they just love each other and they are going to be together, and it's not really used for drama all that much.
Yeah.
They still allow the families to be like kind of the drama, and like the demon never really like comes at them and like tries to drive a wedge between the two of them. It's still much more that still kind of like it's just attacking you because it is a demon, I think it's just it would be such an easy choice to go for, especially in a sequel, and I think that I like that this movie has the restraint to kind of look at it from those other perspectives, like Lorraine's questioning of her faith instead of something that would be kind of pretty standard.
Yeah. Ty, you're going to say something and I accidentally cut you off. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been
Sorry.
talking a lot.
It's all good.
I shotgunned all three of these movies within like the last 24 hours.
Okay.
So it's just been I've been all Conjuring all day.
Sure.
That's a Conjuring overload. What else do I like about the second one? I do like how the family's a little bit different, where there's no father dynamic in this one.
Yeah.
Right, because that could have been like a very easy rinse and repeat, right? Where it would almost be the same story, except it would just be in England
Yeah.
if there wasn't like a father involved or So I definitely kind of like that play because he shows like, hey, I mean, it's also kind of like a woman's empowerment
Sure,
type thing,
yeah.
right? Because there are families where people don't have father figures and things of that nature. So it's always good to see some of that stuff too.
Yeah, well, that's something I noticed with the first one. And Nathaniel, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but towards the end when you see there's a shot that we just saw where it's like it's Ed holding Lorraine, and then you see Ron Livingston's character. He's kind of consoling his family in a nice little like man protecting his loved ones or family or whatever, kind of like a nice little gender almost ideology kind of thing going on there. And I think you're right, Blake. I think that switching it up in the second one is smart to not play that back-to-back movies.
No, absolutely.
There definitely is a level to that, and when you look at film in general, and you're talking about like gender norms and things that kind of creates, horror movies are a perfect place to look for like examples of how film ideology can influence people, because it's not places you typically think about that kind of stuff. But it does set like a standard,
Sure.
When you see things like that, they definitely play into that role of guys are supposed to be protecting their wives or family or whatever it is,
Yeah, I think that's obviously the stereotype or the formula, if you want to call it that in some ways. One of the things that I love about horror is quite often a very big barometer for just what's to come next.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time innovation happens first in horror just because you are constantly trying to find new ways to surprise your audience, constantly trying to find some ways to bring people in because it naturally has one of the lowest budget to revenue things. I mean, these movies make money. They don't cost as much as an Avengers movie, and they make they have the potential to make anywhere as close. So I think it's always really cool to kind of explore horror, because a lot of times you see those kind of innovations happening, and again, it's 2013 and it's 2016, but it still feels fresh, and pretty innovative today too.
Yeah, for sure.
Even with those gender roles and the writing style as well too. I see you have some more notes over there, Nash. What do you got?
I was just checking. I was just trying to keep the conversation going, seeing if I had anything else I haven't gotten to. But I think I got to most of it. There's a good shot in this one that I like when it's early on. I think when Billy the kid is like wandering through the house, he hears something, but he is walking down the hallway, and they walk by the living room, and there's no scare or anything, but you do see the old man sitting in his chair.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that got me. I was like, oh fuck, oh man, we're getting into it, but. I just, it's subtle things like that.
That's a classic
that puts you on edge a little bit.
One scare. I feel like he uses that in Insidious and Insidious Part 2 as well.
Yeah. It's effective, man. It just unsettles you a little bit. And it's not obnoxious, but it's like those tiny things throughout the movie, because you can only have so many jump scares that are actually affect you. It's the tiny things throughout the movie that really, really build tension and really build and unsettle you.
I don't know if we've talked about enough. Maybe we have. That Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are just really good actors.
They are. They are really, really good.
They don't get enough credit for just being just as actors and of the kind of, as the kids would say, of knowing the assignment.
Sure.
They know exactly what they're there for, and they do it to the utmost level, I feel like.
Yeah, I was at my buddy's place last night, and for some reason he decided to put on Fargo season 2, the TV show.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I don't know why, but he was just looking for something to watch and put it on. And it was good, but Patrick Wilson was in it, and it was the first thing I'd really seen him besides Insidious and these. Him doing some real acting, and he's pretty solid in it too, man. So it was fun to get some more appreciation for him. I like him. I think I was kind of down on him when we watched Insidious, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really?
I remember being a little down on him, but he's great in these, and maybe it was just his role in Insidious, but I'm definitely pro Patrick Wilson now, man.
We're sitting here in the cold open of Conjuring 2 here has started, and man, it is something else. Where Lorraine is experiencing the Amityville shootings in real time
with the shotgun.
It is. It's pretty visceral.
Yeah, those cuts are I like that stylistic choice of like it just cuts to him like they got bullets in them basically. You don't.
There's almost
see
the camera speeds up for a second
Yep.
for hers, and then it's a hard cut,
Mhm.
but it's not enough to really be super noticeable.
Yeah.
It's just very kind of unsettling.
Exactly. It's just like you're like that's not how like it's supposed to be. Like I'm supposed to see all this, but it just cuts really quickly, and it's really effective for the fact that she's supposed to be going through this as like a vision almost, and maybe she's not getting visceral details, but she can get those kind of jumps in between. Really, really good. Do we have any other things we want to say about Conjuring 2? I think there was another good shot I liked where when Patrick Wilson's doing the interview with Janet in the living room. And she's sitting in the chair,
like that
and then
scene
in the background it's all blurred out, and then you kind of see her change into the old man.
Sure.
Again, not one of those like overtly scary things, but it's just like kind of a cool shot.
No, that's a great scene.
Yeah, great scene too.
Yeah,
anybody else?
It does such a good job creating that the Discord delay.
Oh, you're good.
But it does a really good job of that scene in particular of just making you again see that low budget stuff that they can get and just yield so much from it. And that's just one of those really good shots.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to watch the third one.
I am too. I can't wait to see what they do, but it's hard to see because these two are smirking.
I'm
Yeah, you guys will be. I'm not gonna ruin it.
I don't want your opinions quite yet.
I think my opinion might surprise some
Not at
people.
all.
Okay.
I will say it as that there's a lot to talk about,
Sure.
both good and bad. I think, in my opinion, they're just there's just a lot to. We'll have some things to talk about.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to be it for our Conjuring 2 talk. That would bring us to its ranking up upon the entry list.
Oh.
Welcome, listeners, to the entry list segment of the podcast. The entry list, for those of you who do not know, is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. If you'd like to, or I'm sorry, I skipped over a part. This is essentially our rating system. Instead of doing out of so many stars or out of 10, we're going to throw all the movies we watch on the list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the entry list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description where it is linked to my Letterboxd. We have 53 movies on the entry list this week.
And we're getting out there.
Gonna be adding 2 more today and 1 more tomorrow. So really,
56.
yeah, we'll be at 56 by the time we record episode 56. So actually, we'll be even. We'll be caught up.
Hey.
Episode to entry list. Let's start it off, ladies and gentlemen, with The Conjuring 1.
Well, we've already determined that it's going to be above Conjuring 2, right? I feel like everyone's kind of on board
I think
there.
that's where everyone kind of
Did we ever
landed,
make our
except for
binary
Nathaniel.
choices, recommends or non-recommends?
We
I
did
think
not.
We all, everyone's pretty much a recommend on both of these, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. The first one and the second one, it's still a good sequel. It's just not, I have more issues with it than I do the first one.
I think I'll be a little bit higher than you. I'm pretty tied with them, to be honest.
Yeah, no, they're very close for me as well. I do think the first one edges out the second one.
By the way, one thing we haven't said so far, I love the font and title sequences of.
It is.
That's one
satisfying.
thing.
It's a small thing.
Even
yeah.
watching the third one, I was like, I just love seeing that on screen.
Yeah, it's the font is just great.
It really just
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know what it is about that font. Maybe it's also the yellow lettering and everything.
And the yellow
and
text.
yeah.
I
and
love
the
a
typewriters.
serif personally.
Oh, yeah, me too. We've talked about our love for fonts before, Nathaniel, but it kind of just sets you in the mood because it's like it's old timey typewriter font.
It's
so
the scroll too. I think.
it's the scroll too, and you're kind of going back. You're right. I do think it's the scroll too. It's like an old timey kind of effect. But then. Yeah, the font too. I don't know. Whatever it is, it just kind of sets your mind back into like 70s, 80s kind of era, and then you kind of get your mind in that setting.
It's the solid shade lettering in a particular typewriter or type style font.
Yeah.
On screen, and then the fade to black too.
It's all very effective.
chef's
man.
kiss.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It's crazy to think that that's done on purpose.
Oh yeah, man.
Somebody out there, you know what I mean? Like people just they know, and
Right.
like,
That's
that's
somebody's
supposed to
job.
show you
Mm.
how
OSHA was mine.
crazy
Font man
these productions are. Right? Exactly.
or woman, for that matter.
There you go. We're all about
or them.
positive gender norms on this
Or
podcast.
them.
Or
They,
them.
There you go.
A fine
Oh, man.
individual.
I'm going to throw it over to one BlakeHolder.
Oh, man.
The Conjuring 1, where is it landing for you upon the Entropy list? I think an easy starting point for most of us could be Insidious, as I'm looking at this.
Yes, for sure.
That's kind of a benchmark here.
And I'm above
Yeah, but
that.
you
I'll tell you guys that
do
much.
you? I was gonna say, do you start looking at like Doctor Sleep?
You know, Ty, that's
It's a great question.
what I looked at. First, I looked at Insidious. Okay, I'm definitely above that. Then I saw Doctor Sleep at 20, and I was like, that's actually pretty high. But I do think the first Conjuring is better than Doctor Sleep. So I don't know if it's better than. This is actually really tough.
It's just hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna put. Man, I don't know. The first one's good, man. I'm gonna put the first one at 15.
15. So that's going to be right below Y Tu Mama Tambien and above Dunkirk. That's pretty high.
Correct.
But I honestly, I could see it. I don't know if I'm with you quite yet. I'm still trying to gauge my ranking. But I'm not mad about it. Nathaniel?
Yeah, man. I think that's a 2010s horror masterpiece, man.
Sure.
As we said, there's only a very small list of movies above that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's tough. It's Kill Bill for me that's throwing this off.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
dude, I know.
Because the Requiem. I would probably rewatch this again before Requiem.
Oh, 100%.
But I think Kill Bill is a better movie than this if I'm going through my list here, and even Dunkirk, like this one's that was the Dunkirk's one within fighting distance for me too. But it really is the Kill Bill thing.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna have this one at 18, above Boys in the Hood, below Kill Bill, Volume 1.
Ty?
that's exactly where I had it. So we're good. We're good here.
As a matter of fact, that's exactly where I had it as well. So that's 3 for 18.
Cool.
I think that's kind of just
we can do that.
Just an outrank there. Yeah, you cool with that, Blake? Sure.
Yeah, it's not like we were even too far off.
Yeah.
So,
we're all in the same range here.
good.
And like even looking at the horror lists, like the one right above it, you can argue Green Room, like.
Green
Right.
Room? Yeah.
The tension on Green Room is so good, though. I can't put it above that.
Yeah, and I think Green Room just on like freshness and maybe like accessibility too in some ways. And then you get like the Get Outs, the Prisoners, Halloween, and then and then it's Hereditary, which is like
for sure.
Again, if Hereditary didn't exist, I think The Conjuring easily takes the 2010s top of the pops list.
I agree.
But man, Hereditary is just the one that everyone just went, "Oh no, this is some next level shit, boys."
Yeah. All right. Well, we have The Conjuring 1 slotted in at 18, below Kill Bill and above Boys in the Hood. We now have to decide on a Conjuring 2. Tyler, I'm going to toss it over to you first, sir.
This is going to be a
Tiptoe tie.
I can't.
First Quiet Place is 25 listeners, just so everybody knows, and that's a pretty good.
Yeah,
a lot of people feel really, really positive.
Well, can you
about that
can you update it so we're all on the same page?
I'm sorry. That's a good point. Why doesn't everybody refresh their page here?
God, I love technology.
You should now see a Conjuring.
I do. Thank you.
What do you think of the name, by the way?
Solid, man.
Yeah?
Solid name.
Yeah.
Great cover art, though.
Yeah. Especially for that first one. That tree is fucking haunting. That tree is just you look at that tree and you know something's wrong.
I think two of the I think it's either the 4K version or the Steelbook version. We're going super nerdy here. Which is the clap clap, the clap clap scare.
Yeah.
I think that's a great poster.
Oh,
too.
with like her with a light, with a
and
lighter.
the hands.
Yeah.
That's dope. If that's the cover. Yeah.
Anyways, back to business. Man.
This one's tougher.
Yeah, this is hard because
Man, we are horror heavy on this Entropy list, actually.
And I'm cool with it, man.
Yeah, no, it's fine with me. I think with both Blake and I on the pod, but we'll just skew horror a lot.
I mean,
For sure.
it's probably like a third, maybe a fourth or so. It's not like every other movie.
No, it's not. But it may be the genre that's represented most.
It definitely is. It definitely
Could
is.
be, yeah.
I was initially gonna say 31.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Okay.
That's a
So-
hard drop off.
That's one above Insidious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
for
It's a
all
below
the
Die
listeners.
Hard above Insidious.
and is that just on like freshness value for you, Ty?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just a first time watch.
Sure, okay.
The first one just got me
Yeah.
so much more than what the second one does.
No, I think that's good. It's a good argument. I mean, that's a lot of kind of I think my own feelings towards like A Quiet Place Part 2 last week and stuff like that
Yeah.
too. So that's keeping with the pod.
But yeah, like I think I like it better than Insidious, which is a lot because like for horror movies,
is
for me,
good.
Insidious is up there.
Yeah.
But then I look at like Descent, Blind Spotting.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, man,
yeah.
those are still like really, really good.
Yeah.
And then like Trick or Treat, I love Trick or Treat. Like
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, I know you do. You and
But,
Nathaniel both.
But 31, I think 31 is pretty comfortable for me.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Nathaniel?
And you would ask me that. Damn. It's hard. It's hard for me because for me, like, there's a part of my brain that goes like, this is another Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2 situation in which, like, it is that strong for me. Or even a Shining Doctor Sleep, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So my brain automatically goes into kind of it kind of in that 26, 27, 28 range. But then, as Ty says, if I'm looking at like horror movies, yeah, like if someone gave me the choice of Conjuring or, and then Conjuring 2 or Insidious, I'll probably go Insidious just because that's a big one for me. Then you go Descent in there too, and that's an excellent one too. So that's tough, but man,
Not easy.
I'm talking through it. Yeah, I'm
Blake-
sorry, folks,
Blake,
if
do you
anyone's
have-
listening to this and is just hate and screaming at the radio right now.
Blake, do you have an idea? Do you want to go first before Nathaniel? It's tough for me too.
I can't do that to you. I can't do that to you. I'm gonna make a decision here, folks. I promise.
Okay.
What's your gut telling you, Nathaniel? Go with the gut, man.
Yeah. Just say it, man.
Like
Just say it.
when you look at this
It's
list,
a judge-free zone.
yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I gotta go with like a. What'd you have, Ty? What was yours?
He had
I
31,
believe I said 31.
right above Insidious.
Yep.
And Insidious is the one that's throwing me, man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go a 28. I'm gonna split the difference between Halloween 2018 and The Strangers.
All right.
Not bad.
Below Halloween 2018 and above The Strangers at 28.
Yes.
Blake, how does that influence your
Yeah.
ranking? Does it influence your ranking?
Not too much. I do like Insidious more than the second Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
And this sounds like I'm shitting on this movie, which I'm not. I do like the second one, but I think I would put the second one above Mortal Kombat and below Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Wow, that's way down there. So,
But is it?
38?
That's 38.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, but is
Right.
it Blind Spotting is a good
That's
movie.
true. That's true.
Army of the Dead is a really excellent like popcorn flick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I just like The Descent so much more than The Conjuring 2.
Okay. I guess I just heard Mortal Kombat and I kind of got a little offended because it was
Yeah.
solid, but I think this is
I think there's a
much
massive gap
better.
though between like this and Mortal Kombat,
There
and I
is.
think there's a
Oh, there
massive
is.
gap between Ma Rainey's and Mortal Kombat.
There currently
to be
is a
honest.
huge gap between those.
Yeah.
You're right. So we have a 31, a 28, and a 38.
38. Yeah.
I am going to go at 27. Just below Quiet Place and right above Halloween 2018. For me, I mean, like I said earlier, this is not much further down in quality than the first one.
No, I agree.
You know, it's
No,
just the first one
I
edges
agree
this
too.
one out, and I think I could be wrong, but I think a lot of your guys' rankings is just maybe based on how good the first one is. But I think this is still like if this was the first one in the series, would still be like a really good horror movie. You know?
No, I agree. Like there is definitely a sense of nostalgia that I
Mhm.
have for the first one. There's a big time and a place that I remember that one coming out for sure too. So yeah, I love the first one. I think the second one for me, this was actually my first watch of the second one.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we didn't really actually even address that.
Yeah, we
very
probably
much.
should have. Yeah, we probably should have.
But yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised. Like I actually went in this with a little bit lower expectations. I had heard that it was good, but yeah, it exceeded my expectations for this for sure.
Me too, honestly.
And I'm
So, yeah.
happy that James Wan directed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how, and that's why I'm saying, man, I still do like the second one. I guess I kind of put it down there, but I'm just a fan of James Wan doing any horror. So like
Right.
the movies objectively are not going to
Which
be bad.
was this
Horror movies, I'll
post
tell you that.
Furious 7 that this actually came out, or was this right
This is
before?
2016.
Furious.
I can't remember if
That's
Furious
gotta
7
be
was
around the same year.
2015.
Furious
Yeah, it's
7
gotta be around the
was 2015.
Okay. So he actually directed Fast and Furious 7, came back to direct this, which I think is pretty cool too, because he definitely could have done something else bigger after
Yeah.
that movie.
Very.
Imagine if the Fast and Furious and Conjuring universes are the same.
I'm in.
This was a actually
And I just
Never
looked
mind.
up Insidious Chapter 2. That's 2013.
That's a good one too,
He did-
man.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
he
about
did that
that.
as well. And the first Conjuring is 2013. So like this guy was just like on a fucking rampage. First Conjuring came out July 2013. Insidious 2 comes out September of 2013.
That's crazy.
All right, let's
So,
not
yeah.
get too far away from it
Beast
here, guys.
Sorry.
Let's bring it back. Entry list. We have a 27, a 28, a 31, and a 34. Where does the difference get split here? I think it would be at 29.
So just after The Strangers, just above Frozen.
Yeah. 29 or 30. One of the two. I think. Does that sound right, guys?
Well, I don't think Leah
Probably-
would be very
probably
happy
closer.
with us if we had it above Frozen.
30?
27, 31. And what else? Who was 25?
27,
Nathaniel?
28, 31, 38.
28.
So what's the
think-
middle
I
ground?
think
at
it would be, like-
27?
No, 27's high. 27's right the highest I was at. So I think it'd be either like 30 or 31 would be like the middle ground for it all.
Let me see.
And I'm
So,
thinking
yeah, I'm
I think
looking
we go
for-
I think we go closer to 30 since Nathaniel and I were closer than you and than Ty and Blake.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
We cool at 30 then, guys?
Man, there's going to be some people that are going to be like, they got The Conjuring 2 above Die Hard.
Oh, we got plenty of movies above
Papa
Die
Schwartz
Hard.
is just
Yeah.
rolling over.
I think we're good at 30. Is anyone gonna contest that?
No, I'm good with that.
Yeah, we can leave that.
Cool. Well, we have The Conjuring 2 at number 30, right below Frozen 1 and above Die Hard. And The Conjuring 1
Boom.
at 18, right below Kill Bill Volume 1 and above Boys in the Hood.
Boom, boom.
A solid outing for the first two Conjurings. We will have to wait and see where Conjuring number 3 lands. Up upon. Check out that episode because it's going live at the same time as this one.
Wouldn't that be fun?
It is going to be fun. Let's see, guys. Yeah, so our next review, which is already probably live when you're listening to this, is
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It's not actually called The Conjuring 3.
yeah, no.
Yeah, it was surprising.
Which throws me off.
You even think it would be called
Right.
The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, but yeah.
Maybe they're just trying to let it play into the whole Conjuring universe a little bit more rather than numbering them.
Or maybe if it flops, they'll let James Wan do The Conjuring 3.
Ooh. This is like a
This
half.
is like a half, yeah. A little tweener. All right. We don't have any. Well, we might have a 5-star review. I don't know, but we have an email.
Let's save the 5-star review for the pod.
Sure.
The food.
We have an email from a loyal listener. Let me pull it
She's
up.
rocketed up the charts, folks.
She has. She's even titled her email in BRB's number 2 fan.
Ooh, laying a claim.
Quite the claim.
You know what? She's got a good one.
Yeah, it's a longer
I like
email.
that she doesn't step on any toes though.
She definitely does not. It's all good praise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a swig of water before I start reading this because it's a very thoughtful email, very long. But I'm gonna get through it all.
As an update, listeners, while Adam drinks his water, Tyler and I have fallen deep into the clutches of Formula One now. It's all we
Oh my
watch.
God.
It's all we think about. It's all that there is.
Do you see it in your dreams as you lay on your back?
I'm trying to plot out how much it would genuinely cost for me to just take off a year of my life and follow it around.
Follow
and
Formula One.
Yeah, and just see. I think it'd be fun. You know, why not?
Why not?
It's unreal, and it would just be. We've been in this for like maybe a week, like hard in it, and we're already talking about like the first trip we want to take to go see a Grand Prix.
I might have to hop in on this. I was considering giving it a watch. We'll talk more about this tomorrow on Brewcord episode 56 and while we're watching everything. But I was considering giving it a watch. I ended up watching something else. But I will get around to it, I think. You guys are hyping it up a lot.
Bro. Which is
Good
like
time.
the it's kind of the shitty part because like if you don't like it, it's just it's not a big deal. But like I just hate hyping things up sometimes for people. Because
No,
then they
dude,
just
I
get, like,
don't.
Dude, I'm gonna be into it, and then like people are like, I don't even like cars. This is dumb.
I don't even like cars, but I think it's still like it seems like a compelling story and something I'd want to check out.
Yeah.
So like I'm still gonna watch it. I think at least give it a
It's
shot.
cool, man. Even if you don't get into like Formula One, like I don't expect you to become a super fan, but like just the way the documentary is shot in general and just everything that they do is really, really well done.
Yeah. Our email comes from one Maricela, the same person who gave us our 5-star review last week that finally got cleared by Apple. Don't know what took so long.
Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, but she decided to write us a very thoughtful email that I will now go through because, as you guys will get to, she has binged all of the backlog.
So if
It's
you
now
listen to
caught
us and send us an email, maybe we'll read it on pod.
Yeah. The emails have to be nice for me to read it. 5-star reviews don't have to be. So if you want to say something mean, make sure it's 5 stars.
Well, if it's a question, comment, or what's your
Question,
line?
comment, concern, or question, comment, concern, grievances, or anything of the sort.
There you go.
You can send it to backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. Maricela, as I said, titled her email BRB's number 2 fan. She starts it off with "Shit goes down"
Shit goes down.
with a cue Nathaniel's spooky Twilight Zone. There we are. She goes, "Hello, Back Row Banter bros, and not Backyard Banter, who are also 4 bros who have a podcast where they casually talk about current events." Did not know that. Thank you for that information. It's been a long time coming for this joyous moment, and boy, do I have a lot to say about each one of you bros. First of all,
Ooh.
I've enjoyed listening to so much growth from each one of you fellows. Each episode has given me more insight on movies, TV shows, and video games, and of course, belly laughs on the many inside jokes you have with your listeners. Add some sort of Eli Roth joke for Adam. It's a deep cut. It hurts me every day when I think about it.
Maybe we could get Eli Roth / Zachary Quinto their own entry in the Conjuring universe. Maybe Eli Roth will direct Zachary Quinto in a Conjuring universe film. Maybe he'll be the
Whoa.
Crooked Man
Maybe.
I could see it.
in the back row. If they give us the Crooked Man, let's make that happen.
All right, I'm down.
Petition.
But
Zach will be reaching out shortly. She continues. Adam, first, I would like to say congrats on finishing your first year of college. It was actually my second. It's okay. I will be a junior next year. Totally fine. Thank you. It was a rough, especially that second semester was very rough, and I appreciate the congrats. Secondly, you are a wonderful host. Your intros, with or without Nathaniel's music, hype me up on mornings heading to work or just cleaning my apartment. However, new listeners, beware when starting an episode, you hear the intro. Beware when starting an episode and you hear the intro. Y'all might get reckless on the road.
Ooh.
I agree. And thank you for that. My good buddy who does music made the intro, so I'll pass it along and let him know that you like it.
Well, as you said, if you get cued in on the music earlier, you're ready to go.
The stock intro is another level, but even our a regular intro every time.
The Iron Man 3 clip.
The Mandarin sampled intro. That one too I love.
It's great hype.
Yeah, it is. She continues. Blake, I truly love your take with scary, campy horror films, but please enunciate horror, or else it'll sound like whore. The early episodes, you would say, I'm a horror guy, and that's totally not what I would hear. I really enjoyed your October Scary Movie Spotlight and cannot wait for more Blake Scary Movie Talk. P.S. I have a cat fact for you. Cats have free-floating clavicles to help them get into/through tight spaces.
Whoa.
That's really cool.
I wish I had free-floating
The way she painted that picture too, the free floating
Yeah.
clavicles, it just made like their jaws are just like
Well, she is
shoulders. I mean.
she's a physical therapist, right, Tyler?
Oh, that would be a tie question.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So she would know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nathaniel.
you know a lot about bones. So
Nathaniel,
sorry.
thank you for all your movie insight and wisdom. For now, I have a PhD in film. I don't think that's legally how that works. I can't say you have a Back Row Banter official PhD, but
Hey, in Back Row University, she does.
there you go.
Starting soon.
I thoroughly enjoy
all that
listening. Sorry, I thoroughly enjoy listening to how you break down each movie you watch, and it has certainly changed a few perspectives from when I watched them.
Oh.
Example, I thought Hereditary was garbage, but your breakdown guided me through so many things I missed from the first time I watched it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's very nice.
Yeah,
Marcelo.
that's good to hear. Yeah, that's awesome. I think not to cut you off, Adam, but I think a lot of people were in that boat when they first watched that movie, or at least a lot of people who don't
understand it
didn't
fully.
see what that movie was, right?
Mhm.
For sure, they're like, I don't
you
get it.
you need to have a certain level of appreciation for what he's trying to
You
do.
didn't have
with it.
Nathaniel talk you through it. That's what
Exactly. Yeah, that's the
So
issue.
everyone who
Now you
doesn't
do.
understand Hereditary, please contact Nathaniel. He'll talk you through it and then rewatch it, and you'll love it.
Well, yeah, maybe just listen to the episode.
Yeah.
we could do that too. We got one
I don't
on there.
know what episode that is, but if I had to guess, somewhere 25 to 30-ish, that range maybe. Who knows? It's on there though. Go find it and go listen. Maricela continues. Tyler, I swear you have the most adorable laugh on pod. It could be your current superpower. Congrats on moving in with your girlfriend. I wish nothing but happiness in your household. And she wants me to say that like Super Troopers 2. So I forgot about that. So let me do that again. I wish you nothing but a penis in your asshole. Is that how it goes?
I think that's what that is. Yeah.
Something like that.
Excuse me?
Yep, you heard it here first, folks. Or in Super Troopers 2. Thank you guys for making every car ride, early mornings, and deep apartment cleaning so entertaining. You guys deserve 6 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait for the next 51 episodes with a heart emoji.
Aww.
Love, your number 2 or 3 fan. P.S. In a fight between a tiger and a bear/gorilla,
Oh,
a tiger
no.
would simply win because of its rapid agility. Trust me, I have a PhD in film and will soon be a doctor.
Do you think that that's a tiger versus a bear gorilla hybrid?
She said bear
Or-
/ gorilla. I think she means either or, but that's
Okay.
also intriguing to think of a bear gorilla hybrid. I don't
Yeah.
know if much can beat
I don't
that.
know.
I don't know if you put the size
know if
and
a tiger pulls
stature
that off.
of both of those animals
And
with the
ferocity
claws
of a bear.
Yeah, with the claws of
Yeah.
a bear on a
And
gorilla.
thumbs.
And if it has the
Claws
mobility,
and thumbs.
I think that's like a
yeah,
Wendigo.
dude, that
All right, let's wrap it up.
That's what that is. Speaking of which, did that
What
movie?
happened to antlers?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did that movie come out?
I'm about to research that, man. I'm gonna research that tomorrow. I really wanted to see that movie for a long
That
time.
movie
so
looks
I definitely
scary
wanna check
as.
it. Yeah.
well, thank you, Maricela, very much.
So wins.
A bear still okay.
Well, bold call.
Bold call.
You better laugh adorably some more, sir, so that Marcella forgives you for your hot take against the tiger.
Thank you very much, Maricela, for writing in and listening to that backlog, man. I
thank you. We
cannot
appreciate it.
imagine grinding through 50 episodes like that.
It was a bold undertaking.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. Like I said last week, I apologize for the quality of those early episodes, but hey, we're here.
Yeah.
We made it.
She's a trooper.
Did you notice that
sure.
Valak is in the is written in the background of this scene?
Where?
We're
On
watching
the bookshelf.
Yeah, and also in the letters on the windowsill when they're talking in the kitchen.
Nathaniel and I have a Conjuring 2 on, of course, and there was a kitchen scene in the Warren household.
Yes.
But that's interesting.
Yes.
I love little tidbits like that. Good for James Wan.
Is that on an OLED?
This sure is on an OLED.
It sure is on an OLED.
Available at your local Best Buys, but if you're in the area, come see me.
Of course. Listeners, if you'd like to write in, you can do so by sending an email to backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. Get your thoughts and comments and concerns and grievances. Get those read out on the pod.
Or anything of the sort.
Or anything of the sort. Don't forget that. Get that read out on the pod. If it's positive, like I said, anything negative, got to be through a 5-star review.
There we go.
That ain't getting through. I think we just, share the podcast. Is it that time of the night?
Think so. Close it on out. Get us out of here.
Please share the podcast. Share with a friend, a family member, a possessed family member, or maybe the thing possessing your family member.
Satan himself, if he'll promote us. I mean,
that's not the endorsement I really want.
It's time to go.
I feel like he knows people, guys.
This has been it for episode 666. Catch us next week. All right. Well, if we can follow the show on Twitter at BanterRow, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and on YouTube, it's just Back Row Banter. Please go subscribe to us there. But BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder, Instagram, Mr. Watercooler, PSN, Mr. Watercooler as well. Haven't been on there too much lately. Xbox, haven't been on there too much lately either, but see if I can get on Siege every once in a while. And that's about it on my end. We'll pass it to Ty.
Really, really quick, just appreciate the kind words. That was very nice of you, and I definitely, we as a team appreciate it, and we obviously appreciate you listening and spreading the word. So, if you want to be like Saul, go ahead, spread the word, take a listen. You don't have to listen to all 50 some odd episodes, but they're worth it. You can see where we came from, and we appreciate any help that we can get. But overall, I Twitch sometimes with Nathaniel. We are hoping to get a Halo stream going here. It needs to happen like ASAP because the game's going to drop, and we're just not going to know when. And it would just be fun to start these.
Yeah.
This is true.
But that's at Twitch / it's Ultravajo, ELTRAVAJO 87. Sorry, had a bit of an aneurysm there. And then
In a chair in a corner.
Letterboxd, Twitter, and Instagram are all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Nathaniel.
What up? I'm Nathaniel. That was my Tyler impression there. You can find me on Letterboxd at NSGingrick. You can find me on Twitter at NSGingrick. You can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. Check out my other podcast, Sandpiper Tapes. Should be new stuff coming there eventually here. But that's got a whole season on there of spooky stuff if you want to do more spooky things. That's pretty much it for me.
Dope.
I'll finish this off here. You can find me on Twitter at Aish24, on Letterboxd at Aish, and Twitch when I get back to streaming Halo with these guys, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Will be twitch.tv/Aish. I think that's going to be it for episode 55.
55 in the can.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I feel like we just had 50. I feel like that was just like
when you
just
do,
yesterday.
Yeah, when you do them the double episodes a week, it does feel like it comes in quicker.
Yeah, it'll jump up a little bit. Hey Ty, you're not muted, bud.
I don't know what is happening right now, but it felt scary.
Oh, is there some?
I was like, am I possessed?
I know. We have the movie on. I was like,
it is too late at night for this to happen.
I couldn't hear anything.
All right, we're good now. Join us next week. Actually, join us for episode 56, the same time as you're listening to this.
Right now.
Yeah, join us right now for episode 56.
Maybe, yeah.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and then join us next week for whatever we review after that. We'll have to figure that out.
Probably something fun.
Yeah, let's get out of this spooky, scary territory.
I thought we're doing fast.
We talked. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Oh, all right, cool.
My life be like ooh-ah.
We'll be RB.
Eject no Cedo, cuz.
Hey, be excellent to each other, and we will BRB. Tyler? Blake, we gonna finish off here?
I don't know why. I don't know.
Tyler, are you possessed?
Yeah, what is happening?
I might be. I don't know.
I said we were getting loose, not scary here.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's my bad. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate any love that you can give us. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do to help kind of spread the word. We appreciate it. And yeah, just ELE. Everybody love everybody. And we'll BRB.
Cool. Yeah. As Ty said, we appreciate the input from everybody. Reviews, emails, comments, anything of that nature. Then as well as just kind of carrying on a happy note. Spread peace, love, positivity. You never know where somebody's at. You never know how somebody's day is going. So try to be kind and make their day a tad bit better. That's it for me, and we'll BRB.
We love you, Marcella.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Who doesn't sleep with the blankets covering their feet, man?
Sometimes I don't
psycho
sleep with
shit.
any blankets.
That's psychopathic
crazy.
shit.
Yeah.
At the
I can
very
sleep
least, a
without
top
it
sheet.
covering my feet. I mean, preferably not. You know what I mean. But if I have a really small blanket, I would opt to cover my top half opposed to my bottom half. If that makes sense.
I think I disagree. Having my feet exposed just makes me so uncomfortable.
But I can do that. Like if I have a large enough blanket, like I can have my feet outside of the blanket, right? Maybe not intentionally, but like if it happens, I'm like, yeah, that's whatever. But like I always have to have.
If I'm going to
blanket up
sleep,
like, my
if I'm going to sleep, no, absolutely
Okay.
not. But if I'm like on the couch or just chilling, I can do that. If I'm like hot, I'll do that. Just like cool off the feet a little bit.
Let me ask you this: and how high do you normally have the blanket when you sleep? It's like, do you like?
I go
chest level.
Yeah,
waist
no,
level,
it's up to my
shoulder
neck,
level?
man. I mean, again, it
Yeah, for
depends.
sure.
It depends on how hot it is, but like for the most part, I'm all covered up to the
Yeah,
shoulders.
dude. Yeah, me too. I'm with you. I gotta
Yeah,
go up to
dude.
shoulders every
Yeah.
time.
Just so comfy, you feel so safe.
How many pillows do you guys sleep with or sleep on? That's the question.
I have
One.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my one pillow for
boss
my
move.
head, and then I have a body pillow.
Yeah.
That's versatile.
I'll make a nest.
Do you? Are you a nester?
Yeah, I don't like having a folded bed. I prefer to have a messy bed,
Okay.
and then I have
Okay.
like 6 pillows that like are all really flat, and like
Okay.
I'll generally sleep on just one or two because I try and sleep on my back as much as I can.
Okay.
A, because
Yeah,
I have
I'm with
weirder dreams if I sleep on my back,
That's always fun.
and B,
That's also something very odd that you noticed about yourself.
Oh,
that
dude.
you that you
Yeah, that's
have
very,
weirder
no,
dreams on your
yeah,
back.
my dream history is just wild as a child. Like
Sure.
I just have horrifying / insane dreams all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I when I got my shoulder surgery, it was really hard to sleep on my stomach anymore.
Oh,
so
okay.
like
That makes sense.
I had to switch to my back. But yeah, and I feel like I just feel more rested when I'm on my back too. Problem is though, I also have way more nightmares when I'm on my back too. So it's like a give or
So-
take.
Well, they
It's a little
say
risk
that that's
reward.
the optimal sleeping position.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but you just feel so much like less protected because you're
Yeah.
just
On
you're
your
just
back,
open.
sure.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So like I've
Yeah.
also like I'll have like a pillow too that I like if I'm
top
on
of
my
your
back
stomach?
on top of me that I kind of hold
Yeah.
on to.
Okay.
Yeah. It's crazy how like the brain processes stuff like that. It's like, well, wait a minute. What if somebody does come in here? It's like, I have a pillow.
But
on me.
yeah, like I used to be that way. I used to like have to like tuck it like over my ear. Like I was like so
Okay.
into blanket points armor, blanket
Sure,
armor.
Sure. Blanket armor.
Yeah, it was. I forgot what episode we had that on, but yeah, that was the teddy bear was like something plus
Oh, yeah,
100
plus 2.
HP or something. Yeah. That's funny.
I'm more of a. I'll fall asleep on my side, and then and in my sleep, I'll roll onto my stomach. I usually wake up like on my side or stomach.
Yeah, I think I'm always on side or stomach.
Yeah. Back just ain't comfy.
It's definitely
I
a
don't know
lot
what it
easier
is.
though to have like a designated like sleeping position when you have somebody else though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Like I've gotten so used to sleeping with
That's
Leah
true.
that like I'm typically always on my side
Mhm.
now because I'm either one way or
Right.
the other.
That's
See, even then, I
definitely
like being on my
Also-
back.
Nathaniel's a non-cuddler.
Yeah, and I
Well,
mean,
no, 'cause then they can
there's
cuddle
some
you.
times where I fall asleep
My
on my
girlfriend doesn't
back
go
and
for that.
she's
She
like, yeah,
does not
under my
go for that.
arm.
My girlfriend is it's you either cuddle me or nothing. It's basically that. I'll ask for a little spoon every once in a while, but like
No, you don't go little spoon. You do the I'm a big person. You like
sure
lay
sure.
on me, and I'll wrap myself
Okay, I
around
see what you
you,
mean.
kind
I
of
see what you
thing.
mean. Okay.
It's a good card to pull.
Yo,
Nathaniel.
I don't even care. I'll absolutely play Little Spoon sometimes.
Oh, no,
I
Little Spoon's
will.
the best.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not
yeah,
denying
I'm
it.
very
was
pro
confused
Little
on
Spoon.
Yeah, let's all get
yeah.
on the same level here. Little Spoon is a positive. We're all
sure,
in on
yeah.
Little Spoon.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's Little Spoon's underrated as a dude. For
Yeah, I
It
sure.
remember
is, man. It
the
is.
first time you find out what it's like to be Little Spoon as an adult male is like life changing.
Yeah, it's a little eye opening.
Yo, I
yeah.
ask for it a lot.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's
I
comfortable.
just love when she just holds me. Yeah, and then she has access to my back, and I like my
Sure.
back being scratched.
Yes.
It's also like
Yeah.
secure too. With,
Yeah.
like somebody
Oh,
wrapped around
God.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Somebody
plus
could
1,000
like
HP.
knock on the door and she would like jump. So I don't, like it's not
Right.
somebody that I like. But
Mm.
I mean, yeah, she makes me feel safe. So
Yeah.